Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today has the accurate yet temporary title of Seascape. Basically, I really should look at. So this is a scene I painted before. Slightly smaller. This is 7 by 14. I painted it 5 by 10. It was one of those ones that got damaged in the flood, so thought I'd go ahead and redo it. And this is pretty much all one session. It's sped up. I will be going back in for a second pass at some point. But I felt it was at a level right now that it was totally shareable. By the way, note the grid, and I did deviate. Not actually sharing the reference on this one, but deviated a bit with the. You can see I had one line demarking the horizon that was lower, and then I decided to raise that a bit, get a bit more wave action into the scenario, and a little less sky. So that worked out fine. What else to say? Well, I had a lot of fun painting this, and I'm no expert at seascapes or painting waves. In fact, I just worked on a project, a little graphics project, where I was doing an album, not an album cover, just a cover for a single for my one of my music projects, Black Wren, and beautiful wave painting, with the light showing through the water, that kind of thing. Awesome. There are people that paint waves and that they paint little else, and they are amazing. And so I don't claim to have any, um, you know, special insider abilities, but I do have ideas about painting waves, and I do enjoy it. So hopefully you'll enjoy my take as well. In fact, I think I did quite a bit nicer job than I did last time. There were some big differences though, and maybe I'll make a note, reference a link for that painting for you. Pardon me. Now this is a wide load ahead painting. There will be a live version of this. I think I've settled into a pattern of short version, long version. That seems to be working out. I have another painting I did this week that'll be the same way. So I am getting back into some sort of productivity, but we're kind of in this interim stage at the studio there. So one of the reasons I didn't paint seascapes for most of the time I've been painting, and the reason for that was just not really loving or enjoying the horizon line. But I've made my peace with it, and I have, again, strategies and ideas about how to deal with that. I feel that I always felt, I would always say it was a tyranny, it's tyrannical, that big straight line, But, like I said, I made my peace with it. I've come to terms with it. And this is based on some reference from a little trip my wife and I took a couple years back. And, nothing super special or outstanding about the scene. But basically it's a cloud painting with some interesting waves, and I'm very happy with it. I do think it would benefit from a bit of a glaze. Not sure what color. I'm almost contemplating like either a light blue or a very, very subtle a violet glaze. We'll see. Maybe even yellow or Indian yellow, something like that. The Indian yellow is quite warm and lovely. Very strong though. I'm still working that out. Because I don't do a ton of seascape paintings, I could, what I would say to any student, pardon me, oh, they might say to me, I can't paint seascapes. I always have an answer for that, and I'll share it with you now. You can paint anything. if you're a painter, because everything is in this world is just shapes. You're basically reducing it to two-dimensional shapes on a two-dimensional surface. So really, if you're the kind of person that likes to walk around saying, I can't paint this and I can't paint that, and I'm no good at painting this and I'm no good at painting that, first off, I have to say, cool it with the negative self-talk. You're not serving yourself. And it's funny how we can get into mental habits like that. All of us, not just you, of course. You meaning, I don't. You may be the most positive person in the world. You don't have the negative self-talk, but I think most artists do have it on some level, and it's a blind spot in most cases. They're not even aware that they're doing it. They just think it's a fact. Oh, it's a fact that I can't paint this or I can't paint that. It's not a fact. It's a belief. And it's a belief that's not serving you, so cut it out, okay? There you go. Hey, that's a pretty valuable lesson right there, I have to say. Yeah, so if you made it into, past the 5-minute mark, most people poop out at 4.5 or so. You'll be glad you did. And, this is, to me, like one insight like that, you might go, oh, well, you're not showing me how how do you get this particular shade of violet? It's like, yeah, sometimes I might show you that, but really an insight like I just laid on you is, about 100 times more valuable, because say you do have this negative self-talk issue, well, now I've made you aware of it a little bit, and so you can either crawl back into your cave of denial or you can say, well, geez, Mike is right, it is just shapes and I can paint anything I want if I just look at it that way. And this is one of the reasons, like, if I feel like I'm a little lost, I can't see the forest for the trees, because it happens to me too. I mean, God knows, I not everything I do is the easiest thing in the world for me to do. I take off my glasses so that I can see the big shapes. If you have perfect 20/20 vision, what you can do is squint, so things are a little blurry while you're painting, and it's called squinting down in the trade. And this is a good way. Just focus on the big shapes, get the big shapes, and then subdivide them into smaller shapes. It's quite easy, actually. I mean, granted, somebody that has a lot more experience with a certain subject is going to navigate the intricacies of that subject better than someone that's not familiar with it. But that doesn't mean what I'm saying about the shape model is not accurate. It's completely accurate, and I know it's true. So if I was to, I've never done a floral painting on this channel, mostly because I'm not interested in that as a motif. But I have done, say, for example, florals in a teaching session with a student that wants to paint florals, and we did some awesome florals, right? And I wasn't especially daunted, because I thought, well, geez, it's just shapes and colors, and composition. So shapes, colors, composition. I will say that I feel that landscape painting has some special disciplines that are unique to it, as I'm sure floral painting does as well, or portrait painting. All of them have things that you need to pay attention to and excel at, but don't discount that you can do something or not just because you took a crack at it. This is the other thing. This cracks me up with my some of my students. And it's always, I can't paint faces, I can do this, I can do that. It's like, and I always counter it. I always say, you can paint faces, you can paint anything. Just sit down and start working on it. And this is, why would you think you can paint something if you took like one crack at it and it wasn't absolutely amazing? This is an idea that I think has been promulgated by the ascension of modern art into the overall consciousness of the art landscape, right? And the idea is that inspiration strikes like a lightning bolt and then issues forth from your fingertips onto the brush and then the canvas. And that's just, it's all genius everywhere, you know, and no hard work was required. It's just automatically awesome. This is like, it can happen. It's happened to me. But in general, it's not sustainable. So why even worry about it? Why worry about a concept like inspiration? I'd say inspiration is actually far more subtle of a concept than people reckon. It's really as simple as like when I picked this up, I thought, yeah, I'd like to do this Seascape again. Just paint it up a little larger. I got some ideas. You know, maybe I'll change my approach, because last time it was on texture and this time it's on a smooth board, so it'll have a different feel. It'll be valuable. And I look, I'm painting these waves right now, and it goes through my mind. It's like, oh, I really don't know what I'm doing right here. But when that thought hits me, I go, well, but it's just a shape. It doesn't matter if it's a wave. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to paint the shapes I'm seeing. And they don't have to be 100% accurate. I mean, I made changes all the way down, and then you go, well, that looks okay. That looks all right. And you just build on it, you know. And you take your time painting things, but keep moving through the painting. Don't get stuck. Don't start belaboring something. Get frustrated with yourself or any of that. Just move on through the whole thing. Finish the painting. Get it done. Let it dry. You can. I have an area in my studio where I put things. Well, I did before the flood. Right now, the whole place is like chaotically torn up. But you know, for the last 8-9 years, I've had a studio there at the Quarry Art Center. I've always had an area where things are drying, and while I'm having my coffee in the morning or whatever, I look at things and think about them. I can see how I could improve that a bit, and I can see how I fell a bit short on this or that particular area. And so, but I definitely like to strategize a bit before going in with a second pass, and there are definitely times where I go, well, I can see there might be ways to improve this dramatically, but there's another thing. I mean, I've only got a minute left, and I brought this up before in the channel. Maybe if the painting's pretty good, you want to push it into really great. You might on that second pass, or it might have been best just to leave it be, because there's a freshness and immediacy that comes with that first pass, that once it's gone, it's gone. Now, you might, if your painting has some serious problems and you fix them, all to the better. But you know, you're going to lose a lot every time you put that painting up on an easel as well. It's not just a win-win all the way across. Like when I put this back up on the easel, like I mentioned, I think a glaze would sort of even things out a little bit. But I'm looking at it right now as we're talking here, and I'm thinking this looks pretty good. All I really need to do is pop a little more light colors in those waves, which we're doing right now, you know. Now, yes, I could go a little further even still, but when I do a second or third pass, restraint is always the order of the day, because I messed up a lot of paintings that were, maybe they weren't perfect, but they had a strong emotive charge that came out of that first painting session. And like I said, when that's gone, it's gone. Anyway, a lot of advice and tidbits and lecturing this video. Hopefully you appreciate it. But, you know, it's one good thing about this way of teaching. You know, I don't have to worry about you sitting there crying because I've offended you, because, you know, you're just watching this video. But if you have any of these issues, if you're one of these people that walks around saying, I can't paint faces, or I can't paint waves, or I can't paint this, or I can't paint that, just stop it, okay? Do us all a favor and stop it. Get over yourself. And start painting that thing you think you can't paint. Tell you what, do 10 paintings of that thing you can't paint, and then tell me at the end of the 10th painting that you're not better, okay? Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Look out for the live version of this one. It's coming. And until you see that, do me a favor. Take good care of yourself, your family, your loved ones. Stay healthy and be patient with people in this kind of hard year, 2020. And stay out of trouble.